Edie Lush, and I'm here in the Hub Culture Pavilion in the Riviera Maya. I'm really pleased to be joined by Linda Eddleman. She's the CEO of Trust for the Americas, part of the OAS. Now tell me a little bit about your Poeta project you've been working on.
Well, thank you very much, Edie, for inviting me to spend some time with you today. As you mentioned, I work for the Trust for the Americas, and our major program is a program called Poeta. It's a job training program that we established in 2004. We established 2 technology training centers to give job skills to people with disabilities and to then help them get jobs afterwards. And we've been really pleased with the success of the program. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary, and we now have 165 centers in 18 countries. We've worked in a total of 22. We've trained 100,000 people directly, and 1 million people have used our centers on weekends and in the evenings. So we feel like we've had a real impact, and we've been able to do this through public-private partnerships.
Tell me about a typical journey. Can you tell me a story about somebody that you've seen go through the entire project?
Well, thank you for asking me. There's so many lovely stories to share, but I'll share a story with you about a young man named Rafael Delgadillo. Rafael came to our Poeta Center in San Luis Potosí a few years ago when he was 19. Rafael comes from a very poor family. He was unemployed at the time, and Rafael happens to be deaf. And Rafael came to our Poeta Center because he wanted to get some training in information communication technology in the hopes he would be able to get a job. And what happened was something very different but kind of exciting. Rafael came up with a business idea. It seems that when he was in elementary school, he was frightened when the fire alarm went off and all the children got up to run out of the room, but he didn't know what was going on because the fire alarm in San Luis Potosí was an alarm
and
he couldn't hear. And as a result, Rafael decided he wanted to come up with a new alarm system that could be used by both the hearing and the hearing impaired. So Rafael, working with some of our trainers at the Poeta Center and with a mentor with whom we paired him, came up with a prototype. He sold this device to a hotel chain and to a restaurant, and now he is a young entrepreneur and he's employing people in his hometown. So we have many of these kinds of stories, and it's really gratifying to be able to make a difference, because the young people in our community are, they're the wave of the future. They're going to take us to the next level.
Extraordinary story. How does financial training fit into what you do as well?
Well, one of the things that we learned in the course of our work with Poeta is that a large number of our beneficiaries, our clients, didn't have access to the formal banking system. I was really surprised to find out that, in fact, in Latin America, only about 20% of the people in the lowest segment of the poorest segment of society don't have access to any financial instruments at all. And Rafael was an example of an individual who didn't have a bank account. His parents didn't have credit cards, didn't have debit cards, and it was very difficult for Rafael to start a business without having those financial tools. So one of the things that we did, working with our corporate partner MasterCard, was to design a financial literacy program. And this program has now been incorporated into our Poeta program, and with this financial literacy program, we've been able to help 3,000 young entrepreneurs, not to mention all the people who are attending our 165 centers.
Linda, thank you so much for stopping by the Hub Culture Pavilion here in the Maya Riviera, and I'm Edie Lush.